Women in Wellness, a program to help you create gorgeous growth for your blissful business in health and wellness. I'm Dr. Gabby, holistic health expert and founder of Women in Wellness, a one-of-a-kind course and community designed to empower and inform you about how to build a purposeful and profitable holistic business. I'm really excited for today's interview. I've invited an awesome guest, Sarah Morgan. Sarah's an award-winning web designer and blog consultant. She helps people leave their unfulfilling jobs and grow passion-fueled businesses. After quitting her corporate job in 2012, she ran away with the circus, literally, to reconnect with her true passions. When she's not busy training as an aerialist, you can find her on exosarah.com, inspiring her readers to turn their passions into a job that they love. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I love your website. I saw the pictures of you all kind of tangled up in hoops and other things.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, about your passion for the aerialist stuff, but also how does that kind of align with your blogging and consulting?
Yeah, so I help people build badass blogs and businesses online. Like you said, I was working a corporate job. I kind of ended up working 3 jobs at the same time. I was doing my corporate job. I was training and performing and teaching circus arts. And then I also was growing a freelance web design business on the side. And now I'm doing both freelance design and some blog and business consulting, as well as circus. I did get rid of the corporate job at some point. It's really nice to have that sort of like two polar opposite jobs in my life. So I can spend part of my day on the computer. I work from my couch, as you can see. So I'm spending all of my days sitting, and then I can go and train or I teach, and I'm able to do something that I cannot think about business when I'm in the air. That's like, I do not want to fall on my head, so I have to completely focus on what I'm doing. And it's been a really great way to not only get me out of my apartment and off my couch and away from my computer, but to do something that's really focused on something that's completely different than my general work.
Yeah, that totally resonates with me. I'm a sailor in my free time. I have a sailboat. And so when you're pulling the lines and the wind's throwing you around, you don't have time to think about social media or blogging or any of that.
It's nice. It forces you to turn off that side of your brain. You can't think about it at all. I love it. And I teach kids, so it's like 10 times that I have to be 100% focused and like keeping them all in line and from falling on their heads as well.
Can you take us back a little bit to the beginning of blogging? Why blogging? Like what inspired you to do that? And how did that start?
So I have actually been blogging since I was like 13. I was like little nerdy kid. We had just gotten the internet, so you can kind of guess how old I am. And I don't know, for some reason I found like those Angel Fire GeoCities websites, and you could make a really simple like 1-page site. And I used that to teach myself how to code. And then I blogged throughout high school and a little bit in college. And then once I got my corporate job doing design, I stopped blogging and stopped doing like fun design work. And then maybe like, I would say 3 or 4 years into my corporate job, I was not enjoying it so much anymore. And so I started blogging again, started designing again, because I really felt like, do I not enjoy web design? Do I need to like change my entire career because I don't love doing this anymore? And no, it was because I was doing like really like boring, I worked at a TV station. So I was doing really boring, like template, no, you can't use anything but these 2 colors and these fonts. And I was just bored. So then I used blogging to kind of fuel my freelance business, and then it like took off from there.
That's really exciting. And so now you hire other people to help you with some things in your blog and your website. So how did you decide to enlist other people to support you, and what was that process like?
Well, like most people, I had major resistance for like the first probably 3 years of building my business on my own, because you're only making a certain amount of money and you're trying to hold on to that and save it. And I, at the time, owned my house. I've since sold that house, but it was like solo person freelancing and trying to pay a mortgage. And that was scary. That was like ultimate failure if I can't pay my mortgage. So I was not going to be like paying anybody else hundreds of dollars to do anything for me. I was DIYing everything I could because I needed to save all of my pennies. But at some point, my income grew a little bit. My workload grew a lot. And I knew that I needed to pay somebody to do professional headshots. I needed to pay a copy editor because I had been rewriting the same copy on my website the entire time. I was just like going through every couple of months and rewriting things and editing things. So it definitely needed somebody else's touch to refocus all of my content. And then it was things like paying for accounting software, paying for like lead pages was a big investment. It's expensive, but it does all of the opt-ins on my website. I do landing pages. I run webinars through it. So at some point I needed to stop like cobbling together 4 different things, which it takes so much time. So once you have like a little bit of extra income, it's really worth it to invest that back into your business, to use that to automate things, to make yourself look a little bit more professional. You can invest in a web designer. That was not something I had to do, luckily, but that's probably going to be one of the first things that people invest in is a web designer. But I would say, as soon as you have like a little extra cash and you start to feel that like panic of, am I going to make enough money this month? Once that starts to subside a little bit, I would start investing back into your business and hiring some other people.
I think that's really good advice. I think a lot of people try to cobble things together on their own and they're not very good at all of it. And then it doesn't look as professional. What would you say is like the mission of the work that you're doing with people? So if you're helping people with design, if you're consulting, what's the mission behind that?
I want them to be able to do what I did, which was if they're sitting there looking at their job going, I don't like this anymore. Like, I don't feel good going to work. I don't enjoy what I'm working on. I'm not excited about it. I open my eyes in the morning and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. That was like my feeling for probably a year. So I want to help those people build something online and navigate all of those things and, not have to cobble things together. I want to give them the solution, that like one thing that will help them automate part of their business, help them, take some of the stress out of what they're doing. So I just want to help all the people that are like me 5 years ago, so they don't have to, work for 4 years until they actually see something come back from all the work they're putting in.
Do you see common themes or patterns with the people that you're working with, like common fears or common challenges, things that people are facing?
The tech stuff is definitely like on the top of the list. I get a lot of people who are like, I tried really hard. I've been working on this for months. I can't make this one thing work. I don't understand it. And that's why I have an online course called the Badass Babes Blog Club and e-course. And it's all about building your blog. And I help all of my students through those tech things where they're like, I have been like pulling my hair out for months, literally months. I've Googled everything there is to Google. I can't make this work. And I'm like, okay, if you just change like this one little thing, I'm sorry, it's like one thing and it will fix your problem. But yeah, so that's what I love working with people and helping them through those tech things. And then it's like, I think a lot of it is confidence. People are afraid to promote their own stuff. So that I have to be like a little bit forceful with my students. I'm like, you're going to promote your blog post 3 times every single day. And they're like, oh, that feels really weird. But then they do it and then they get the traffic or the subscribers or they start making sales or getting clients. And they realize that it's not terrible and salesy and annoying and it's worth it to put the time in to do that.
Yeah, I had a call with a client this morning who said that she felt like that was icky. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, no, there's nothing icky about this. This is like, that you have something that serves people, that helps them. You sharing it with them is not icky. That's not a bad thing.
Right. And they followed you or they subscribed to you for that reason. They want to hear from you.
Exactly.
You're just like keeping them from that information. If you're like, I put it on my blog, I'm sure they'll find it sometime. They totally won't. You have to tell them. If you don't promote your own stuff, nobody else is going to help you promote it. They're not going to like reshare it. that's what the most traffic I get is from people resharing my content, retweeting my tweets, repinning my pins, sharing my Facebook posts. It's not from that initial like blast of social media content that I do. It's from my audience resharing it. So you have to give it to them in order to make it easy for them to share it for you.
Did you face any challenges with that when you first got started? Were you shy about that?
No.
Me either. I was always like, buy over here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think I realized like pretty quickly on social media that that's part of the deal. You know, you become a resource, so you're sharing like other people's stuff. Then you do need to be like out there promoting your own content. And it doesn't have to be like salesy and icky. People, I hear that word a lot too, icky. Like, oh, that doesn't feel good. It feels weird because people aren't used to being like, hey, totally awesome. I have this thing if you want it. Like we don't do that in normal life unless you're like in sales and marketing. And most of us are not. I have no sales and marketing background before I started figuring this stuff out for myself. So it does feel weird, but that's why I use a Pinterest scheduler and a Twitter scheduler, because I can just like load everything in there and then it goes out and I don't have to like worry about it or realize that it's going out, 10 times a day that I'm promoting my own stuff.
Do you mind sharing what tools you're using? Is it like a Hootsuite or something like that?
No, I use Buffer for Twitter. I use Tailwind for Pinterest, and then for Facebook, I don't use Facebook that much, but I just have WordPress's Jetpack like sharing plugin, and it automatically shares my blog posts to Facebook.
Nice. I started using Edgar. I don't know if you are familiar with
I've
Edgar.
heard of it.
And I'm really happy with it. It does LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook, and I don't even have to think about that anymore.
Yeah, and it makes it feel like a little bit better. Then you're not like constantly like share. You just put it all in at once and then it goes out and you don't have to think about it.
Yeah, that's the best. So have you faced any other challenges during the last 5 years that you think might resonate with the people who are making that switch from the corporate or the steady paycheck to being an entrepreneur? Anything else that comes to mind that might be helpful for them?
Yeah, well, one of my big issues, which is still one of my big issues, is like having so many ideas and wanting to do all of them right now. I'm really, really bad about like doing a course launch and then like 1 week later, I'm like, oh, I'm going to make another thing. And then all of a sudden I'm into a course launch again. Like I'm finishing my course next week. And then in 2 weeks, I'm going to launch a new course. So I'm going like right from one to the other. So I still struggle with that, but I have started doing like a year-long plan. So by putting all of my courses or ebooks or whatever I want to make into the plan, I already have it set out. So there's like space in between everything. And then it kind of like calms that need to like launch. So I know it's coming. I'm going to launch it. It's already in the plan. So I can like step back and not cram everything in, which I am totally doing that.
I think that's common for people who are really passionate about what they're doing though. Cause I know I'll write a blog post and I try to space them out like a week in between. Yeah. And I'll be like, I have to post it.
Yes. I was just talking to one of my business friends about like, having so many ideas and wanting to do everything right now. And I was like, once I'm done with these 2 courses, I really hope I don't have any good ideas for like 3 months after that. Like I want to just like blog and send things to my email list and work on the stuff that I already have going and work on like my sales funnels and my sales pages. So I'm kind of hoping for like a lull and inspiration just so I can like chill out for a little bit.
Yeah, I encourage my students and clients to keep a binder, either a physical one or a digital one, and just kind of put it in the good ideas binder. Yeah. And then when you do have a dry spell, which happens as well, you can go back and be like, oh yeah, I had that idea for this. Now is a good time.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I have an app on my phone. It's called Clear. And so I've got like blog post, email, business ideas. My shopping list is in there too. But it's really helpful to just like, I know that I have the list of all the things. It's there, but I don't need to do everything right now. I need to focus on the course I'm working on right now and then plan on in the future, I'm going to do like the next idea on the list.
Yeah. And the people that are listening to this, they're working in health and wellness. I'm wondering, do you see any particular patterns or themes with the holistic people that you're working with?
I don't know. I don't think I've worked with a ton of holistic people. I work with a lot of blogging coaches, getting their websites going, and a lot of, I guess I work with a lot of like healthy living bloggers, but it all comes down to that, like technology and confidence are the two things that like everybody struggles with.
Nice. And so what are you working on right now that you're really excited about? You mentioned these courses that you launched and stuff. Can you share some of that with us?
Yeah, so I'm launching a Pinterest course. I haven't told anybody else. So there you go. I'm launching a Pinterest course at the end of the month. And then Badass Babes will open again. My blogging course will open in April.
Nice. And how long do they last? How long do the courses last?
The Pinterest course will be, I think it's 10 modules right now. So that'll be self-study. If you want to like blast through it in a weekend, you could do it in a weekend. If you want to stretch it out and do like 10 weeks, you could do that. And then Badass Babes is 8 weeks, and that's a little bit more structured because I do weekly hangouts with both the students in the current session as well as all of the students in all of the sessions that I've done. So that goes for 8 weeks.
That sounds really exciting. And so how is that structured? Are you using like some kind of forum to have that communication or?
So I use Slack. I did.
Oh, nice. I've used
I
Slack.
love Slack. Yeah. So I used Google Plus Communities for a while, but like the tech side was a little bit confusing for people, even though the actual community was really nice, the way it was structured. So I just recently switched everything over to Slack. So I have like private channel for all of the current students in that 1 8-week session. So we can go in there and like talk through the lessons week by week. And then I have tons and tons of channels for everything that we cover and like anything that people come up with at any time that they want to start a discussion on. I just add in more channels. So it's really nice, and I like it because I've been able to set it up so that I can give people a link and they can add themselves to the channels. So that's really helpful. I'm all about automating everything and just being like, you can totally do it yourself.
Unless they're freaking out.
Yes, I usually get like 1 or 2 people that need a little help.
And are you still working with people one-on-one, or do you prefer just working with people in a group program?
Yeah, so I do custom website design. I only take about 4 clients a year, so that's like a smaller group. And then I do one-on-one consulting. So you can totally book an hour session with me and I'll go through your entire website or whatever you want to build and help you figure it out.
That's so awesome. I really appreciate you being here with us today, and I hope everyone goes to exosarah.com and checks out what you're doing. What kind of ebooks have you written that they can get their hands on?
I have 2 ebooks that Create Profit Party, which is about creating an info product. So creating an ebook, creating a course, creating a podcast, creating digital downloads, anything that you can sell on the internet and like have it be a little bit passive. So you're not constantly selling or constantly updating or having to do like weekly anything with it. You can just put it online and then money shows up in your PayPal account. It's really fun. And I also have a book called How to Double Your Blog Traffic in 90 Days or Less. And that is kind of a condensed version of the Badass Babes course. It's everything you need to kind of get your online presence going, get consistent, build social media, build your email list, create a community around your blog, and really focus on what you want to put online so that you bring the right people in and build a great audience.
That's amazing.
Which is a physical planner. It's like a blog planner. It's on Amazon.
Amazing. I love everything that you're doing. I love your style. I think it's really badass and cool. So I'm so happy you were here today and shared all this cool stuff with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. You can join the Women in Wellness Club at women-in-wellness.com.